champion!
Replica! Deep space! How unexpected.
Win this duel for me.
Foolish maiden, come to feed me her champion.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
Come. Trample. Hunger. The pain. Never ends. Your absurd defiance ends here, hatchling.
The Atlas must remain mine.
Disintegration. Cleansing. Annihilation. Incineration. Annihilation. Disintegration. Cleansing. Annihilation. The fires of 1,000 suns.
I shall extinguish them all.
You do not have the strength, hatchling.
That may be, but I am not alone.
How pathetic. Incineration.
No mana.
Annihilation.
Just need a moment.
Disintegration. Cleansing. Annihilation. Incineration. Disintegration. Annihilation. Improbable.
Ooh.
That's what it gets for trying to invade my Atlas.
It is not a battle you can win, hatchling.
I want to win this.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
My champion, energize the spheres.
Consume. Succumb.
Low on mana.
Writhing mass. Succumb. Writhing mass. You let us escape from pain.
Hey, I'm Cyclon, and this is my day 1 report, discoveries, and experience, I guess. Something like a mix of those three. About the Siege of the Atlas and about Archnemesis. As you can see, I have collected 2 white stones, gotten quite a bit of my Atlas bonus objective done, and so far my experience with this league has been quite good. I mean, I did my own share of mistakes. I accidentally deleted an Empower. I bricked stuff. I sometimes died too many times, but that was all my own fault. This was not really my experience with the league, so I'm just going to ignore that. Because my experience with the league and the core expansion so has been super amazing. I shortly after 2 days, like it's at 26 hours, I got both watchstones. I got a tabular super early in Act 2. I've got most of my other gear that I needed to get started. Build's been fine, league's been fine, but I'm jumping ahead. let's talk about the new Atlas, and I absolutely love it. Comparing to the Conquerors, the progression is so smooth. Kirak is questionably a bit broken, but I will come to that after a moment. The Atlas progression, you know, comparing to Conquerors of the Atlas, where you had to do leapfrogging to be proper efficient, or you run maps, you put the watchstones in, you need then the same maps dropped in higher tier, Horizon of the maps to get different of the same tier, or you need to run those first because you need them in this region, and you kept running the same maps over and over. And now again, you run different maps the further you progress into the Atlas. And I would recommend not socketing in any void stones you get until you have done your core completion done, because that would mean if you put them in, there are more high tier maps that aren't actually originating from the tier. So if you get them dropped and you still need completion, you're not getting the maps you need for completion. So Atlas progression, really nice to take your time, complete T1s, complete T2s, T3s, T4s, T5s, T6, T7s, and so on. Just take your time with that. Don't force the completion on all, obviously. You will get a lot more with Kirak missions later on. You can jump back getting a few done. You will get them dropped eventually. There are many ways, like just buying them from Kirak missions, like I said, buying off the market. You don't need to force complete all, but complete most of the tier and then move on to the next tier, or jump between T1, T5 with completion, jump between T6 to T10s with completion, and then the red maps complete by tier. That's what I did. I am almost done. I'm missing like a handful of maps on each tier, as you can see. It's been super amazing. The new bosses also being quite fun to kill. You've seen them before this. How I did it, I got quite nice drops from the Searing Exarch. The Ito Fruit wasn't so nice, but that is whatever. I think it was a nice boss fight for being on a very easy setup. For the Atlas passives themselves, I went early on to get the map drop additional tier higher. Then I went for Harbinger, got the Kirak node, strong boxes, and then for my bossing setup, which I hopefully will get into soon, it hasn't failed. The only time where I was kind of hard stuck with this Atlas pre in my progression was at T11s. I won T10s, I got completed a few T10s, I still didn't got any T11s, so I used Horizon Orbs, getting the other T10s done, and I still hadn't any T11, so what I did was a 3-to-1 recipe, a T10 to a T11, and suddenly I sustained red maps, and I was easily done in red maps. So again, take your time with completion, and then use 3-to-1 recipe if you get stuck on a tier and can't get a tier higher. 3-to-1 recipe rescues you there, and suddenly you're sustaining again. Also, one Atlas passive that I want to especially note out, Intelligence Gathering procs on every map, and you will very quickly get safe houses. So you just need 1 to 2 in syndicate missions, set up any safe house that you want to keep for Mastermind, and then don't run any syndicate anymore outside of after you need to proc the Mastermind completion. So you run 3 safe houses, get the 3 guys in the intelligence gathering in the jail, then you run 1 syndicate mission, which will result in 3 procs, so your Mastermind should be complete, and you do the Mastermind. Easily done. Now if you need unveils, of course it won't work, but you can set that up very easily, and in a few maps, like 40 maps at most, you have a Mastermind, which is a nice thing to do on the side. Outside of that, Harbinger is nice. I got it exalted off from Harbinger. I haven't gotten anything from the strong boxes yet, so I can't say if it's worth it or not. I have not found the secret operation strong box, and the one strong box map is nice. I think there's something bugged with ghosts, with the tormented spirits. I have seen many maps where the boss was randomly ghosted, but I have not had anything with ghosts. I have not used Fortune Favors or Brave or anything, so I don't know what happened there. But that being said, really nice. Atlas is fun. You get a few refund points, so you don't, so you can do a few mistakes. Early on, I went into shrines to test them out if they work with the Gull, in the sense that the Gull shrines, the lesser shrines, get affected by your Atlas tree shrines. Didn't work out. However, the other way it works, the Gull effects on shrines do stack with the Atlas passive on the normal shrines, if that is something you want to do. That for the passive tree and the bosses. The Black Star has been interesting. I killed him very quick, killed her very quickly, so I didn't know the experiences. A bit later I did a carry for some videos and I saw one experience. The interactions have to do with either fire skills or ice skills. So if the ice skills, they seem to affect only the ice half, and the fire skills only seem to affect the fire half, and they interact with the pillars around the boss. I haven't really fully understood it yet. Once we bid into the league, I will try to get a tanky build set up, like just using the Aura bot, and I will experience the full skill set of the boss, and then can give you a proper guide. Until then, or if nobody else has done it at that point, until then you will have to just experience her for yourself. The Searing Exarch himself was a very interesting fight, albeit a bit easy. There was the immunity phase he had, where he rolls the magmas. I think that is reasonable enough. However, if he has increased AoE, it could be that those orbs get bigger and that could make it absurd. So I think those fights are made to be scalable with the map mods, and early on are super simple, but if you want to scale them, if you want to maximize the profit from it, there will be a challenge in them, and I'm really looking forward to trying that out. For the Infinite Hunger, apparently people being dragged under by him and get stuck. I have not experienced that myself. I just insta-killed him with Seismic Trap. So I cannot say anything about that, about his Luid neither. And the Eater of Worlds being an interesting fight. He has one skill that I haven't fully grasped it yet, where he spawns a Death Beam which increases in size and applies the dot ground that you cannot at some point disengage, and Maven spawns orbs that you need to charge. With the trap, I failed to charge the last one and I died to the Death Beam, so I have not figured out what you need to do after the charging. That being said, it's not too hard, not too bad. I think once you figured it out, it's definitely better and easier than the memory game. So far on my thoughts about the new Atlas. As for Archnemesis, there is, I think, a clear distinction between early and late. Archnemesis seems to be not as intuitive as it looked. The recipes, there are indicators to what recipes are, but they're only after you put in one. So you put in the first one, let's say you put in Deadeye, let's say you put in Vampiric. On the second one, Deadeye and Gargantuan will have a silver border. That means that is a recipe for either Revelation and the other one is Assassin. And before that it says here, undiscovered recipe. It is okay, intuitive enough, but I've heard about few people now who didn't realize the silver border indicates this is a craft. That being said, I think this is okay enough. It works out okay enough for early on. You can get a lot of uniques, you can get a lot of rares, you can upgrade your build very easily with doing Archnemesis, and it has a nice difficulty scaling, where the first and second one are fairly easy. The third and fourth are quite a power spike and in tankiness and in damage comparing to the first two ones, so I think it's a neat little mechanic, and definitely looking forward to what people will come up with, because this is the second part. Late game, to say making crazy currency with this, you will need like your own little combo or a known good combo to utilize this the most. And right now the only combo that is any affordable, any doable, is the tree-end combo from Grimrow and his chat or his Discord. I don't know if his chat really just consisted of his Discord or even further more people. So I'm just going to, he said his chat. So that is what I say here now. Grimrow and his chat discovered a combo which includes the tree and horde that will result in a lot of currency and scarabs dropped. But it relies on one thing which you definitely require, which is mirror image, which needs two very rare. What are these actually? Archnemesis bards? Modifiers? I don't really know how to call them. I'm just going to use modifiers. So you need two modifiers that are quite rare to get a full combo done. As you can see, I have everything else, tree and assassin rejuvenation, but I'm missing the first one, so I can't even do it, can't even try it out myself. So that is that. However, I think if you find a second combo and a first combo and these two don't overlap except in stuff like Gargantuan or Steel Infused or something that is very common dropped, I think you have then two strategies that you can run as soon as you get the complete set, and then you're good to go. However, with them being dropped randomly and its league style, I don't know how that will develop. I'm definitely looking forward to what the whole PoE community can come up with as the good strategies. But now let's talk early on, and I think that is way more interesting. Chaos Recipe is so good with this. I still have all those rings, amulets and belts from early maps. Those are literally just from white maps and acts and the first few yellow maps, and it's been so much of those. I still do the Chaos Recipe just on the side. At the end of map I have inventory space, I pick up a random helm, some weapons, gloves, boots, body armor, and then I do the Chaos Recipe and I get a few chaos. It doesn't really take any effort and it's sustaining so much. Now of course once you're in like red maps I would stop actively looking for it, but I would say still use up what you have, and early on you definitely do it. It is so nice. Now the 280 chaos I have here isn't even all I got from this. I am running in a duo group and we have currency not just on me but also on the other one. So that means that the 280 chaos are just a fraction of what we actually total have made with Chaos Recipe. I think this number could have been very well 500. It is very absurd how good the Chaos Recipe is early on. Now that's really all I want to say about Archnemesis. So that being said, have a great day and a really good continuous of the first week of the league. Goodbye.